I'm Tamia Brinson from Mindset for Success. And tonight we have an awesome show for you. We have our special guest, financial advisor, Kiera Hall, and she's an author of her new book, The Blueprint: 5 Steps to Go from Paycheck to Paycheck to Financially Lit. Kiera, let me ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get to the point that you want to write a book on personal finance?
So I went to a workshop about 4 years ago, and it was all about writing a book, and how when you write a book, it allows you to um, be known as an expert in your field. It like gives you a level up, even though you know all the same stuff, but now all of a sudden with author behind your
Yeah.
name, um, it can help. And so that conference inspired me to want to write a book on finances, since I was already helping people in finances and licensed in that area. Um, and then what brought it to life was I went on a fast,
Mhm.
and for 3 days from social media. And during those 3 days, I just prayed, and every time I was tempted to click on the Facebook app on my phone, which was no longer there because I remove it when I'm fasting, so I won't
Oh,
accidentally
wow.
forget I'm fasting. Anytime I had that urge, I was like, oh, let me click on my Bible app, and I just read scriptures like every time I thought about getting on social media. And by the end of that fast, God made it clear that I needed to leave the company that I was with, which was a financial service company. And I didn't believe it because I had all these big dreams and goals with that company. But the moment that I left that company, um, it was as if God took blindfolds off of me, because I
Mhm.
was so focused on that company, and I thought that my success was wrapped up in it, and the company was all I knew. But the moment I realized that that wasn't for me, God started reminding me of dreams and different things that He put in my heart and that He had given to me. And so I immediately started working on a book, and ideas just started coming to life. And that's how this birthed from a fast, helping me to shift my focus on something that was an idol, which was the company. Like, it truly was an idol for me, and I didn't even realize it. And then I just began putting God first. God brought to life the dreams and visions that He had given me. And my ultimate inspiration from writing books originally came from just being helped so much by all of Joyce Meyer's books. And so I have multiple.
Yeah.
I have another book I'm working on. I have about 10 titles already, so I'm working on them. But my desire was always to be able to write books and change people's lives through writing books and speaking. And God just brought that to life when I put that idol down and decided to focus on God first.
Wow, that's amazing. And no wonder why when I was reading your book, the first thing I noticed that you mentioned was prayer. And I noticed that before you even got into any kind of strategy or anything about money or finances, you mentioned prayer. And now I can see why, because it's your personal story. And when you put God first and you go to Him and ask for direction, I mean, that's everything, because like the word says, we have our own plan. Man have their own plan, but
Yeah.
God directs. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about, because wisdom. Now, where did, because you seem to be a very young lady,
Yeah.
but you have wisdom like wise beyond your years. And I was reading, if you don't mind, I'm not going to give away all of your, you guys get the book, okay? But yeah, I'm not going to give, but one thing that stuck out to me, it says wisdom is the combination of experience, the application of knowledge, and sound judgment. Can you expand on that? Because a lot of people are seeking knowledge but lack wisdom, and wisdom is the tool that actually give you success.
Yes. So the application of experience, I just got to put this out there. It does not have to be your own personal experience.
Yes.
Um, I'm 30 years old. I don't have a ton of experience. A lot of my experience comes from people around me, like my parents, family, friends, also people who I've seen struggle, and I thought, ooh, I don't want that.
Mhm.
And then I take the knowledge that I'm learning and then I figure out how to apply it. And then, truth be told, there's some stuff I learned, and it wasn't until I bumped my head a couple times that it finally set in. Like, for example, I knew you should have an emergency fund, but then we always think, well, that emergency is not going to happen to me.
Okay.
And then it takes a couple of times for that emergency to happen to you, and you realize, like, oh, it is so important to have a fund. And so, yeah, so I hope I expanded on that greatly, but I guess I would just say that we should learn from our surroundings and that we should watch others and how they are doing things so that maybe we don't have to bump our head as much to have those experiences,
Mhm.
and take in that knowledge and just begin to apply it. And it will be uncomfortable many times applying knowledge because it's change and it's different from the way that we normally live.
Okay, wonderful. And again, guys, the name of the book is The Blueprint: 5 Steps to Go from Paycheck to Paycheck to Financially Lit. So, another thing you mentioned, Kara, is planning. How important is it to plan?
I believe planning is, I don't want to say everything because there's so much more, but it's vital. Planning is like food, right? Um, and so we drink water and we need air, but then we also need food. So
Right.
it is vital to our success. And if you're at all like me, which sometimes I really have to pray for God to help me with anxiety. Planning brings that anxiety down and it
Yeah.
helps me to focus and it helps me to not waste time and not be all over the place. Um, there were times when money was really tight and I was in the negative and like late for bills.
Mhm.
And so when you're in a place like that, it might feel pointless to do a budget because you already know you broke and you already know that you can't pay the bills. But it is so powerful. I found that when I actually took the time to write down every single bill and see exactly how much in the negative I was, because then at that point, instead of being reactive, I was
Mhm.
able to be proactive, maybe
Right.
start eliminating some bills, being creative and resourceful on how I could get stuff done, and then actually take myself in a position where I don't have to be in the negative because sometimes we waste money and we don't even realize it. But if we plan, whether it whatever it comes to, but if we plan, I believe that that the planning is like writing the vision. And there's a scripture that supports this that says, you know, write the vision, make it plain upon the table so that he who readeth it may run, and the vision will not tarry, wait for it because it will surely come. And so I believe that planning is something that God wants us to do, and that planning will help carry us and it'll help us to catch any blind spots and help us to stay away from stepping on bombs or falling in holes because we planned it.
Okay, beautiful. And then I noticed you said that you don't have to have a perfect plan. And that's one thing that got to me because when I started my journey on being, entrepreneurship, working for myself, I had this myth that everything has to be perfect. But I quickly found out that if your plan isn't perfect, if you wait on everything to be perfect, you would never accomplish anything. So it's best to just walk in faith, plan it, but realize it's not perfect, and you perfect it along with God will help you perfect it along the way, you know.
Yes, yes.
We'll be right back right after this break.
More items on your to-do list than hours in the day? If you're in college, you know exactly what we're talking about. But there's one thing you should never be too busy to do, and that is taking time to make a budget. A budget is a financial plan that will help you make smart spending choices today while preparing for tomorrow. Budgeting will help you achieve your goals and prepare you for unexpected bumps in the road. So what goes into making a budget? First, you'll need to track your income and expenses for a particular period of time, such as a month. You can use pen and paper, a spreadsheet, or a budgeting app. After that, making your budget comes down to a simple equation: what you earn minus what you spend. To determine your income, include items such as wages earned at work, allowances from family, and student financial aid such as grants or scholarships. To determine your expenses, include items such as tuition, books, rent, credit card payments, and car payments. Then simply subtract your expenses from your income. Are your earnings greater than your spending? If so, you could choose to invest, buy a new cell phone, or simply save for a rainy day. But what if you spent more than you earned? If that's the case, it's time to cut back on your expenses and balance your budget. You may also need to find a way to increase your income. Remember, everyone's budget is unique and it will fluctuate from month to month, so use a budget and be mindful of your daily expenses. That way you can make sure you're spending your money on things that really matter to you. When you budget, you decide where your money goes instead of wondering where it all went. And there you have it, the basics of a budget. Now it's time to create your own. Go to studentaid.gov/budget to get started.
Hi guys, this is Tamia Brinson from the Mindset for Success Show, and this month we're going to be talking about finances. That's right, I call it February, the month of financial freedom. Okay, so go ahead and get ready because we're going to be talking about getting your personal finances together. We're going to be talking about things you need to know about the stock market and cryptocurrency. So get ready to take notes, get out your paper and your pen, and be sure to tune in every Monday night at 9 p.m. on the Daily Gospel Network.
Father, we're here before you to worship you, to say that you're our God. You're so lovely and wonderful to us. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether lovely, altogether wonderful to me. And here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. So here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. How many know we serve a powerful and wonderful God?
And now, Let's continue with our discussion. So another thing you was saying about steps. I'm not going to be on your steps, but was that in the aspect of your planning, the process of your planning, you need to focus on doable steps, things that are achievable. So can you expound on that? Because a lot of people are, or some people I should say, are, they have pipe dreams. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the pipe dream can be, well, the pipe dream is achievable, but we need to learn how to break it down to smaller achievable steps. So can you expand on that?
So I believe there's two types. There's like this big overall vision, and then there's the plan, which you can actually take action on. And so by no means am I saying get rid of, because let me tell you, I have some big visions and dreams.
Yes.
And I see stuff like God literally gives me dreams. And many times I don't exactly know how I'm getting there, but then, I look back and oh my gosh, I dreamed this 10 years ago, and wow, look at, like, I see it. But what I would say is that when it comes to your planning, so that you don't get discouraged in the midst of all the big dreaming, start to think of some daily habits and some action steps that you can take to at least move you in that direction, because now you can measure it. Now you can actually take action, and you can look and see how did that work, and you can start to move in the right direction. Because one thing I notice is that as we're working our plan, God is still working his. And so there's things that'll come up, that will just be blessings. That'll just be favor that it's something you were hoping for, but it's not necessarily something that you could just make happen. And so yeah, I think it's important that we make plans that are doable.
Right. Okay, and then you have a whole section of budgeting. You guys, again, get the book, because I'm not going to go into detail with it, because you have to get the book. You have to read it, okay? And so, but that's part of it that you put in here is budgeting. And when we get to the action part, what was particularly helpful for you when putting your plan in action? Like, was you a procrastinator, or were you back then when you first started this journey, were you a procrastinator or a self-starter? What was the things that helped you to actually put in action?
Well, I actually is the opposite of procrastinator. I would be the person who didn't do much research and just jump right into it. And so some people, they kind of ask a lot of questions, and they want to make sure they got it right before they do anything. I didn't necessarily do that. And I think that that's a blessing, because none of my mistakes killed me, and I learned through it, and they weren't that serious. Like, so for example, first thing is a budget. I mean, you just sit down and you do it. You literally just sit down and you just begin to write out, what are all my bills and expenses? And then you see where you stand from there. And then you can start to plan, well, what about things that aren't bills, like groceries and gas? How much that costs? And you think about all the minimums.
We'll be right back right after this break. Hi guys, this is Tamia Brinson from the Mindset for Success show, and this month we're going to be talking about finances. That's right, I call it February, the month of financial freedom. Okay, so go ahead and get ready, because we're going to be talking about getting your personal finances together. We're going to be talking about things you need to know about the stock market and cryptocurrency. So get ready to take notes, get out your paper and your pen, and be sure to tune in every Monday night at 9 p.m. on the Daily Gospel Network.
Natural disasters can happen anywhere. You can protect yourself by planning ahead. ConsumerFinance.gov has the information you need to make a plan and help safeguard your financial future in the event of a disaster. Whether you're at risk of hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, wildfires, or earthquakes, here are 3 steps you can take right now to protect yourself financially and weather any storm. Step 1. Download FEMA's Emergency Financial First Aid Kit and fill it out. Gathering all of the paperwork and filling out the forms may take some time, but it'll be worth it if disaster strikes. Once you complete the kit, you'll have everything you need in one place. You'll have gathered important documents like your ID and your Social Security card. You'll have written down the phone numbers and account numbers to your credit card companies, utility companies, insurance companies, and more. If you need to apply for disaster aid or contact your insurance company, you'll want this info on hand. Step 2. Find a safe space to store the kit and the documents you've gathered. ConsumerFinance.gov recommends that you make a copy and store the original and the copy in separate places. If it's digital, password protect it, and if it's printed or on a thumb drive, make sure to store it in a waterproof and fireproof container. Step 3. Make sure you understand your insurance options and the extent of your coverage in case of a disaster. Renters, homeowners, and auto insurance policies generally don't cover all aspects of a disaster. You may need to look into specialized coverage, like earthquake insurance and flood insurance. A weekend of prep now can save you months of frustration and lots of money if your property is damaged in a disaster. For more information on how you can protect your property and finances, and to download an emergency financial first aid kit before disaster strikes, visit consumerfinance.gov/prepare.
If you're getting a tax refund, now is a good time to take another step forward. This video will show you 2 ways you and your family can make the most of your tax refund. Your tax refund is a solution. You can use part of your tax refund for things you need right now. You can also use your refund to get ahead by saving it for things you'll need down the road. Saving part or all your tax refund can help prepare for sudden expenses that come up, like car repairs or medical bills. By saving some money now, you could avoid borrowing or relying on credit cards for major purchases. Setting money aside can get you closer to future purchases, like buying new furniture or making a down payment on a home. How to save with direct deposit or savings bonds. You can use direct deposit to send part or all of your tax refund to your savings account. You can also split your refund between your savings and checking account. Direct deposit is a faster way to get your tax refund than by check, and it's also free. Or you can use part or all of your tax return to purchase U.S. Series I savings bonds. When you own a savings bond, the U.S. government pays you interest that adjusts with the cost of living. You can get your money back at any time after 1 year from most banks and credit unions, but you'll earn more interest if you let your bond mature for 5 years or more. You can also buy them as a gift for others, like your children, to help them start saving for their future. Your tax preparer will make buying bonds with your tax refund convenient. Using direct deposit to keep part or all of your tax refund in a savings account, or buying a savings bond, takes only a few minutes and can help you get ahead.
And now, let's continue with our discussion.
Anybody, you could watch this video today, sit down and do a zero-based budget just like that. It takes you like 10 minutes, unless you just have no idea where your bills are. Then maybe it might take you like 30 minutes, an hour, because you got to go through all your bank statements and kind of figure out where your money's going. But yeah, so the budget was super easy. Life insurance, I jumped out, I got a product. I just kind of trusted somebody and I got ripped off. But the cool thing is, with life insurance, they have a clause that says that you have 14 days to be able to review it. And if you don't like it, you can cancel it and get your money back. And I actually found out I was getting ripped off within that time, so I got my money back.
Wow.
I didn't get my money back. Okay, whoopee, big deal. I was overpaying, but at least I was in a better situation than I was before. I had some insurance as opposed to no insurance. And then once you find something better, you just switch because it's not a contract. Or at least it's a contract to the company, but not a contract on you and
With
how long you
you.
gotta keep
Right.
it. And so for me, I just kind of looked at what do I need? And then I just jumped out and did what I could do with the best of my ability. But before you can start making any of these decisions, you gotta go ahead and get that budget down.
Right.
Some people are afraid to make a decision because they're not so sure what their budget is. But if you just take 10 minutes to an hour, now you know what your budget is like and you can begin to prioritize. So for example, if it didn't fit in my budget, I was going to have to start getting creative and figuring out what was going to have to go, because the last thing I could do was say that I am 100% comfortable knowing that if something happened to me, my family's just going to struggle.
Right.
So I was going to make cuts, and I didn't have that much cuts to make because we don't have cable. But I was going to figure out where to make cuts at, and it probably was going to be fast food, because if y'all like me, I pick up fast food quick, and that adds up to a lot of money.
Yeah.
Your family of 5.
Yeah, it's best to go to the grocery store.
It truly is.
And so, Kiara, was it hard to sit down? This is for the married couples. Was it hard to sit down and with your spouse and get a budget and a plan and stick to it? I mean, what was your personal journey? Because you may be able to help people because some people might be in a dilemma.
Yeah. Was it hard to sit down with my spouse? Yes. So I just did it by myself.
Oh.
Like, I did it by myself, and then I just brought it to him and said, what do you think? Did I miss anything? Is there, your haircuts? Okay, let me just go back. They're like, you and your spouse are probably completely opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And one of you is probably going to be the one that would actually sit down and do the budget, and one of you is probably not. And that's okay. It isn't anything. All that it means is that the one who is going to do the budget needs to just go ahead and get it done. And if you can't sit down together and make it happen, which I couldn't figure out how to do for us to actually both sit down together, I just did it myself. And then I just take it to my husband and ask him for his review. And that was in the beginning. Now I don't even ask for a review because I just do it. And then I just tell him what it is because I know
he's on board now. So
yeah, and I'm familiar now, so I'm not forgetting about certain things that because I've done it enough. But now I just do it, and I just send him a text, and I say, hey, this is the budget. And depending on our financial situation, when we're in a place of excess, I'm not super strict on it. But something I've done to simplify it is I have a whole bunch of different accounts. So I have like a bill account, a vacation account, an emergency fund account, a home improvement account.
I'm Tamia Brinson from Mindset for Success, and thank you for watching the show. Be sure to tune in next Monday at 9 p.m.
You have the mindset for